right, hi everybody, David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back with another Symphonina Foundation podcast. And I am joined today by the complete and entire Neave Trio. Anna, Eri, Mikhail, how are you?
Hello.
Good, how are you?
And now, Mikhail, great to see you all. So, first of all, congratulations on your Grammy nomination for Le Maire French Piano Trios in the Chamber Music Small Ensemble Performance category. Yes, and a well-deserved recognition. And Mikhail, it's great to see you. I've seen Anna. This is number 3 on the podcast, and 2 gets you to be a friend of the show. So Eri is now a friend of the show. Anna is a super friend of the show, the first person ever to be on 3 times. We are besties friend of the show. And Mikhail, it's great to meet you. So since we know so much about Anna and Eri already, I think we should start with Mikhail Veselov. So Mikhail, let's hear a little bit about your story, how you met everybody, one at a time, how you formed the trio, and we can go from there.
Absolutely. So I'm Misha. It's so great to be here. I heard so many wonderful things about you, and obviously heard your podcast, and it's just an honor to be here. We have a 2-year-old, Anna and I, so full disclosure, sometimes one of us has to be with him. He's in daycare today, so great.
There you go.
But maybe next time he'll show up as well. I don't know.
He'll be a bestie also, I can just tell. Yeah.
The Neave Quartet coming up here, yeah.
Exactly.
He'll have a lot to say, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But Anna and I we met in grad school, a long time ago. I don't know if Anna will kill me if I say how many years ago.
A couple years ago.
A few years ago.
Yes. We met in grad school. And you know how those things are in chamber music especially. It's just chemistry that happens. And it's such a vulnerable thing to play music. And in chamber music, it's so trust-based. And, the best experience playing it. And I think listening to it too is when you feel that sense of connection. And we were playing a quartet from literally day one, and then we felt like the piano trio is such a special medium that you have to play so many roles and you get to play so many roles. And the sound and colors that this combination of instruments can create is just absolutely unbelievable. It really is a mix of string quartet moments and piano concerto moments and the symphonic moments. It's just a truly unique medium piano trio. So we had that dream, and we met Eri later at a festival where we're all teaching, and I'm sure the story is somewhat familiar to you listeners.
Yes, the story has been told here, but that's all. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Exactly. It's funny. Mikhail, you spark a memory. So when I was growing up in this house, my dad, who passed away in 2007, my mom's still with us, but my dad played flute and saxophone and clarinet. You can see the saxophones behind me, but he played clarinet, flute, and they would play flute, harpsichord, little things. And then sometimes they'd have somebody else over, maybe a cellist, maybe another flute player or something like that. And eventually when I got more seriously into music and you're performing, let's say, a solo thing, you're totally vulnerable to the audience. But in my professional piano career of playing jazz piano, you're not that vulnerable, because if you really do screw up something, you can kind of wing it through it if you're on it, and that's fine. But the vulnerability that you have as a performer in your duet, your trio, your quartet is not so much to the audience, but to everybody else on your team. And I totally appreciate what you're saying. Like, if my mom was on the harpsichord and my dad messed up something, or vice versa, it's like, I could hear it. And I was 7, and like I know that dynamic was going. So I totally, really do appreciate, what you're saying, especially, when it gets to be your level of performance, which was, they were very good, but, maybe not at your level of performance. At your level of performance, I think, there's a certain, it's beyond team building. It's something else. The word's not coming to me here, but, you really are relying on each other to be there and pull through in the moment that it counts. And then when you do, it's a great feeling.
Absolutely. And I think it's on the sort of technical level, right, logistical level, to have each other's back is so important, but also musical. Like, we really move each other. I think when we at our best when we play, and we, the kind of listening that we do, and the kind of communication that you really, like nonverbal communication, it's sort of cliche, but it is really true. At its best, you really communicate and you move each other and you really inspire each other at each given moment. And whether it's recording a live performance, there's that always present, and that is very special about chamber music.
Yeah, there's a chemical reaction that happens on stage, which is so fun. That's why we can keep it always fresh for the pieces that we perform like hundreds times.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
That's the fun part of chamber music live.
Yeah, and being like always, again, same, yeah, being either in recording or on stage, like the amount of presence to one another, and that sort of it's incredibly intimate, like this thing of chamber music and that ensemble, that it really, it becomes like a, really the sum is greater than its parts, of like you're all this, like, hopefully this one sort of organism that you're taking on these different roles, but together as one, and it takes such a degree of trust and presence and intimacy. And both these guys have made me, speaking for myself, like I've teared up on stage from both of them, just like they're playing, and their sort of vulnerability. And it's a really,
Mikhail's not going to admit
it's like a real, it's a privilege, like to get to be in this medium.
Yeah, when you're playing something for the 100th time, it's not the 100th time that night. So, like, at a jazz thing, I did have to play Piano Man 4 times in one night, and I do remember thinking on the 4th time it got requested, okay, play it like it's the first time. But you don't play the same thing 100 times in one night. But you do have to play it a lot of times, whatever it might be, and even your choices for the album, which are beautiful. It's in the coming to it and trying to make it fresh. Make it yours. What are the kind of things that each of you have your own answer to this, that you approach it to bring what you have to offer to it? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this makes sense, but I always think of it, I mentioned being present, and I think of, I've not ever had the privilege of interacting with her, but I would imagine what someone like a great actress like maybe Meryl Streep would say of, like, I would imagine that she would say something to the effect of, like, it always has to be new. It always has to be in the moment that you're reacting to something. And that, you're in this moment of telling a story. And in my opinion, it's this advantage that it's a medium without words, because then you're not limited by that vocabulary. It can be so emotionally intense for a listener. It can be such an immersive experience, especially with the kind of repertoire that we're so lucky to get to play. And so you have this sort of incredible palette of emotions and colors that you step into, and you're playing this role with one another. And again, just so lucky to be in this sort of ensemble kind of writing and experience, because it's like a really well-written play where, sure, the script is there, but it only happens because of what goes on in the moment, right? So it's like having to be present to what's being said or played without the sort of assumption of oh, that's what's on the page. You don't take what's on the page for granted. You want it to feel like it's for lack of a better word, being made up in the moment. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, I feel like every time, sorry,
go ahead, Eri.
No, every time, like, we get energy from different audiences. Like, really, like, we feel that I know that they're not talking or anything, but we really feel that the live audience is, like, giving so much energy. And then that really changes how we play, I think.
Totally.
Yeah, I think
they're the fourth member.
I know, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also another collaborator. The recording process, obviously, it's engineer, producer, right? And obviously the space too. But I think in a concert, like live performance, I think the space that you play in, it really can change sound quality, timing, how our instruments blend together. Obviously, Eri, not at the at the stage where Eri travels on piano yet, we get to play with different pianos, which is fun for all of us. And
fun adventure.
Usually for the better side, fun. Sometimes it's adventure, but it is also the quality of the piano is always, it's always Eri playing it, obviously, but there are different colors that come out, and so there's something about music in general, but I think especially in a sense, sort of chamber collaborative kind of music creation, is that it is always different, and it's always in the moment, and it's there and it's gone, right? We talked about sort of vulnerability or like mistakes that can happen. It's also great because nobody's going to rewind it and be like, what was that? Like, it's just gone. It happens and it moves forward. And something about that shared experience for us and the audience that is about the music, and it's not about us doing it perfectly, because it doesn't matter. As long as it's gone. But what stays is that sort of shared experience. And I think especially now when there's just so much going on, the phones always light up, and notifications and so I think have an idea of just like sitting there for an hour and a half, whether it's with the recording or in the live performance of whether it's classical music or jazz or any other things, just shared experience in a group. You know, it's just so rare these days, and it's so special. And I think music can really do that. And everybody has their own individual experience too, because Anna mentioned it's not a literal text, right? It is so individual at the same time. So there's nothing quite like music that can provide something like that. You know, it's individual and shared and in the moment. And I know it's so special. I think especially
that shared moment and experience. Totally, yeah, that's so true.
So a question for you then: when you're approaching a live performance versus approaching recording for an album, and you know, hey, this is going to be for the album. Two of the three of you know your instrument. The third of you gets to play whatever is in front of them. Eri gets to play whatever's in front of her. So, Eri, you have to adapt to whatever that piano is in front of you. My first question is, when you're doing something for recording, do you have your favorite piano that you play on all the time for recording, or does it go into a different studio each time and you're going to have to adapt to it just like you would if you were performing someplace?
Well, fortunately, we have a beautiful studio with the beautiful Stanway D in Potton Hall in England for Chandos.
Yeah.
And luckily, I think it's the same piano that we have used since day one, like the first recording. And so I've been very lucky that way that I got to know the instrument for I think all our Chandos.
Every time we get in the studio, Eri gives it a hug. It's very sweet. Oh, my favorite piano.
It's an old friend. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It feels like a home actually now. So I'm very lucky that way with Chandos pianos.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then so you probably know the piano tech for that piano too. Then I'm guessing, right? You have a relationship, and they know what you want, and they know how the hammer should be, and everything for what it is that you're going to play ahead of time. You probably have a conversation ahead of recording, I'm guessing, as to what you want it to be.
Well, yeah, I trust them, and then I usually have sometimes, but
and they come in a couple times a day, so we can always, we always talk to them.
Pretty much, I've destroyed. Yeah.
You only broke one string.
Yeah. Oh, at the Ravel one.
Yeah. Only one. That's pretty good.
At the very end of the recording session, there's this. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I didn't even know I had broken a string, and then the next morning, the tuner was like, "You had broken a string." I was like, "Oh."
Wow.
Okay.
That's pretty damn good for that, but that's a lot. That's good.
All right. So, so I'm guessing that in the recording setup, you have everything set up, not just for the piano the way you want, but for your cello and the violin how you have it set up. All the mics are going to be exactly the way you want, and you've learned that over time as to what works for you. What kind of things have you found that work for you in a recording setup that maybe someone else who's also recording small ensemble kind of things would benefit from?
Well, I think, we have to be really clear that, we're so lucky to be signed to the Chandos label, which is so just fantastic on every level. Most importantly, our wizard magician, another one of our besties, our producer, Jonathan Cooper, who actually came to our wedding, which is really special. And he talk about trust. Like, there's such a trust of knowing kind of the sort of intimate and natural sound that we want, and how, again, we're really invested in the ensemble and how this sort of everything from orchestral to solo to the intimate to the grand, and how that's really what we're aiming to capture. And he's so on board, and so just at this point we're so lucky because there's kind of that shorthand in the process. So we just total trust. He does it, and we go along for the ride. We ride the wave, to be totally pun intended about Lemaire.
Right. Sometimes you feel like you want more of this.
Yeah, we'll listen after the first setup, and he already knows what we like and what we're looking for at this point. But I think the main thing, I think obviously there are a lot of genres of music that get recorded, like separate tracks, and even different times or isolation booths. For us, it's important to have that chemistry that Eri mentioned, that live connection in the recording moment too, because otherwise it's not really that same thing. You can,
chamber.
So I think that's the sort of most important thing. But we're still able to be in the same setup or in the same kind of line of vision and communication.
I mean, we're just right here. Yeah. Like, you could have the mic right here, and it would be exactly how it is in the studio. And so, to the point that's been said too about like chemistry and presence and trust, like if one of us messes up a take, that's messed up. Like we got to do it again. Like it doesn't. We're all in it. It really is the ensemble because there is no separation or isolation of tracks. It's like
we're
that's
all
the whole thing.
It's good. Well, there's positives and negatives to every setup, whatever that setup is. So it hopefully accentuate the positives. Go from there. How did you go about choosing the material for this album?
Well,
it's all very favorite repertoire of ours. That's usually what we record. We get to love a lot. Either before we decided to put together, or while we're working on it, we kind of find something to connect to. I think these pieces specifically are all very much immersive. To us, it's about transporting yourself somewhere when you listen to it. Obviously, La Mer, the title piece on the album, is rather known piece by Debussy that was actually an orchestral piece, and we kind of talked about the colors in the piano trio. And this wonderful composer, Sally Beamish, she took this unimaginable task of taking this really orchestral, famous piece and making it a trio, which I don't know how she even imagined that. But what I think she completed is this its own piece, but it highlights the color palette of a piano trio in such a special way. So it kind of does its own thing for the piano trio, and I think the amount of color it just gets out of this combination is just unbelievable. And all we talked about sort of orchestral and solo moments and string moments and wind moments, so there's always different color in this piece. It's just so special, and it is about the sea. It is really painting this image with music, and then same, it's very programmatic. Mel Bonis, who was a French composer, was very prolific. Mel. She went by Mel to hide her female identity, but she was one of the most prolific French composers. She wrote over 300 pieces, but then she was largely forgotten because she was Melanie Bonis, and probably around 1970s, she was the turn of the century, around the same time as Debussy and Saint-Saëns. But around 1970s, her music started to come back, and these two small pieces for piano trio, Soir Matin is evening and morning. They have the same kind of, they transport you to this, I don't know, and our conversations like this French landscape at this time of the day, and you can kind of imagine how air feels and how the mist is or whatever. So it's very...
I always think of like water, like glistening lantern light on rippling water for the... Anyway,
so it's very...
Yeah,
imagery based as well. And they're both obviously programmatic. They have names, right? La Mer and Soir Matin. But Saint-Saëns piano trio, even though it's just a piano trio...
I mean just a piano.
Well, meaning it does have a name.
Title.
It does have a name. They, in our opinion, it has that same... imagery-driven qualities to it, right? It's very character-based. Like the first movement of Saint-Saëns is just this ocean-like waves.
It's like a rolling wave. Like the very first gesture that Eri has is like this rolling dramatic. Yeah.
So I guess like our, idea for the audience, for the listener of this recording is to sit back, relax, and imagine yourself transported somewhere really, and kind of feel like. Kind of what we talked about, the sense of being removed from everyday thing and just giving yourself time to connect to something that's maybe will, I don't know, give you a respite and kind of move you somewhere else. Hopefully.
Yeah. When you're doing a live performance, and my colleague and friend and your friend, Daniel Fisher, got to listen to you recently in concert, and then rave reviews. Do you play the same program that you played off of the album, or do you change that up each time? How do you choose your program for a different location?
It always depends, and I think it sort of brings it back to the point Eri made earlier of like, it's the audience is so crucial and critical, and as I would say, like the fourth member, because it's really being in the space with them, and so how that can translate is, for various series, for various concerts, there will be people who know their audience and therefore will ask us to play X, Y, and Z as opposed to A, B, and C. And so it's really always individual. Sometimes it's very related to an album we may have had, or completely not. Sometimes it's its own theme, but that sense of sort of connection and community when you come into a space and you're like, hey, we value what it is, we value that you have an experience that is meaningful to you. And so, it can really, really vary. I think the program that we played the other day.
Was Gabby, Lena Frank, and Rena Ismail, and Coleridge Taylor. It was like American connection.
Yeah.
They wanted American composers.
Yeah.
Two of whom are living, and with different sort of backgrounds and sort of roots and finding the sense of home in different ways. So just as an example, there's many different sort of themes that can come in and out, and connecting with a particular audience is really important.
Yeah, and I guess it means too that when I get to hear you play for the second time, because I did get to see you at the Grammy Museum, that was a little while ago, but I will expect a different program, which is good.
Okay.
Wait.
Everybody, if you go see your favorite stars, sometimes they give you the same program. Sometimes they don't, but in your case, it would be different.
I'm Piano Man.
Yeah, God help us. Okay. Yeah, I know. What do you have planned for 2026? After February 1st.
Right. So we actually we have a residency in Iowa at the Wartburg College, which is a wonderful community. We go there twice a year, so we're playing a concert, we're doing residency, working with the students, and then from there we're going directly to London, where we're getting our London debut.
At King's Place.
In King's Place in London. We have 2 concerts there.
That's going to be so fun.
A lot of
including
fun.
working with dancers and doing piazzolla, and that's going to be so fun. Yeah.
And we're doing a UK premiere of a wonderful piece we just premiered, I guess a week and a half ago.
Yeah, right before Thanksgiving.
In New York, a piece by Jennifer Higdon. And it's kind of fitting with the album idea of sort of being transported or painting images. It's all her piano trios, which has 6 colors. They're all based on colors. So the ones that short for us is green and orange, and they're just wonderful pieces. And she's just one of the best, I think, people to work with, and
she's so great.
Incredible composer. So we're getting to premiere her pieces in UK in February, and then we're doing this project with a filmmaker in February in New York. The date TBD. It's always, but a lot of really fun collaboration. We're doing Rising in New York City as well, Baruch College in April.
Another sea theme. Yeah.
It's not the sea theme actually. Yeah, it's about Rising
with
Oceans.
dancers.
With dancers. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot of collaborative projects. We're recording more. We're doing a lot of different sort of trio concerts that are straight, music performances. So a lot of really exciting, fun things and different programs almost every time.
Yeah, it sounds great. Do you ever entertain, or maybe you do, have like trio plus one? Have some, let's say, a flute player or a clarinet player come join you for a session or something like that?
Singers in particular. I mean, we're always excited to explore different collaborations, but yeah, definitely.
We've done stuff with shakuhachi and
right.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a presenting organization in New York that does sort of traditional Japanese instrument mixed with traditional chamber music instruments. It's really fun. Always we've done it a couple times. So yeah, we always love collaborating, whether it's music or other mediums. It's just it's always such a great perspective and new ways of looking at what we do in our instruments.
Yeah, if people want to find out where you might be performing, what's the best way to check on your schedule?
NeaveTrio.com.
I thought so.
On their schedule.
How do you guys manage to travel with a 2-year-old? That's a logistical challenge.
Kindness of strangers.
Kindness of strangers.
I think he's been so
and maybe
great,
Eri too.
Right.
Eri's an honorary auntie. And
I'm sure.
Yeah. But he loves traveling. We're in California.
We're so lucky. He really does love to travel.
We're in California in October, and it was just logistically tricky to fly across the country. And my mom, came and she hung out with him for a while. But I think he was very bitter that he didn't come with us. So he'd much rather go on a plane than have us not take him. So, but it's it's a lot of places we present our community-based sort of centered organizations, chamber music societies or university concert performing arts series and things like that. And there's always just an incredible amount of people that make it happen. Whether it's keeping on the lights or whether it's getting the audience to the concert, whether it's moving the piano, making sure it's in tune. It's just army of people, ushers, PR people. Just an incredible amount of work that it takes to put a live performance, and I'm sure as recording as well.
It takes such a village, yeah.
It's really a village, and we've been so lucky, and we're so grateful for people always kind of hearing us and helping us finding childcare, or just have one of the board members hang out with our 2-year-old, and and we're lucky that he grows up around music as well, and that's it's I grew up in my theater. Both of my parents were in theater, and I remember that feeling being backstage and how much fun it is. So I hope he will see the same way. It will be material for therapy later. We'll see. I don't know. But
well, I'm not sure if his first instrument's going to be the cello. That's a little large, but
I think maybe drums.
Drums.
Boom boom.
I think Eri's going to sneak in the piano lesson there, right? Yeah.
He is already playing with me in rehearsal.
There you go.
So.
He joins in, yeah. He's not too inhibited, which is a mixed blessing.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about the intonation on the piano. So.
Oh my God.
Well, tuners.
I'm so jealous of that. Oh man.
I can tell you the 4 months of violin lessons I had, that was brutal for everybody in this house. So. I totally appreciate the challenge of trying to play a string instrument that has no frets. It is, and if you haven't done that at home, try it. See how it goes for you.
I know. And on the other hand, in piano, you're playing literally like 18 parts at once with two hands. So I don't know how that works.
There's that too, but it's at least you don't have to worry about the tuning. It's whatever it is. So. That's it. Your album's wonderful from start to finish, from cover to cover. From all the performances, the recording, engineering, everything. It's at the highest caliber. It's great. I'm so happy for you. And
Thank you so much,
I wish you all the best. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do it?
Oh, well, they can contact us via our website. They can do Instagram. I don't pretend to understand TikTok, so we don't, but the Facebook and the Instagram, or they can just email us at neavetrio@gmail.com. That's also fine. That's great.
Okay, they'll go for that. And we're going to listen to some more of your great music on the way out. So, Eri, Anna, Mikhail, good luck to you all. And as always, if there's anything we can do at the Symphonina Foundation, you just let us know.
Thanks a million.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.